Hey guys, it's DannyDealz here. Thanks for tuning in to Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more on behalf of executive producer Hurricane Lopez and supervising producer Stock Karen. We want to thank you for joining us here. It is Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. Time is 7:51 a.m. out here on the Pacific Coast. That's a Topper time check. It is almost 11 a.m. out in NYC. We hope it's a great day wherever you are. Um, I would like to bring you a quick update on the Nio stock. Nio is getting absolutely hammered today. Ticker symbol, as many of you know, is NIO. NIO. This is, of course, a Chinese electric vehicle maker with a broad product range, a lot of models, a lot of stuff happening today. So just want to bring you an update. Stock is down heavily. Based upon some really bad numbers coming through with XPeng and on earnings and also on outlook. And Neo got hammered right along with XPeng. Lee is actually holding in there, actually up or basically even today. Tesla's down about 4%. XPeng is down about 11. So Neo is down just as much as XPEV on or XPeng. I always forget how you say that. But anyway, Neo basically crashed with Xpeng, and it's because basically their delivery numbers have mirrored or been less in the last couple of weeks and even months. And Neo has just been floundering as far as the production ramp. And I know they're getting a lot of things together. They just started delivering the new ET7. They're doing the ES6 launch today as we speak, and we'll bring you an update there. But it's really not surprising to see the stock get hammered when you consider for the last week's registration, Neo was again below XPEV in terms of deliveries. They had 1,500, whereas Neo had 1,400. And Neo's deliveries have been really bad for the last month or two because they have been, I think, changing over production lines. Again, they have a couple of new models that they're just starting deliveries on. So there's always some growing pains there. I mean, people may remember like Tesla, the Model 3 almost broke that company, and people hear the whole thing about Elon Musk like sleeping on the factory floor, and this, they just couldn't get the production quite right because even though they had a good design for the car, actually getting the vehicles into production in mass, that's the hard part. And they always talk about the machine that builds the machine, and that it's 20 times harder to actually make something in production than it is to design it. So I think Neo has had some growing pains there. They have learned their lessons, and they're still giving some pretty aggressive production numbers for this year. So they're very confident they're going to do a big ramp in H2 of this year. So let's just take a look at some Neo news here. Neo will hold an event for the ES6 launch today. They're doing it right now. I'll bring you an update there. This is extremely important for Neo. This model is going to compete head to head with some of the most popular SUVs on earth. It has some incredible specs, and the 150 kilowatt solid state battery will actually be available this summer. It's going to give the car almost 600 miles of range, incredible performance, just a lot going on with that vehicle. What can we expect to see with the price action? Basically, this is what I'm telling you. It's going to go into this wedge, and it's going to trade in this channel until they can get some positive production numbers. Notice we were rejected here by this line again, right at $8.75. It's just over and over and over, all the way back to December. This upper bound of this little range here that's forming this delicious little wedge is, December 5th, it was rejected. End of January, rejected. End of March, rejected. Middle of April, rejected. End of May here, rejected. So Neo has to do more than introduce new models. They have to build those models in bigger numbers, and they have to show that there is demand for those vehicles at the premium prices they plan to charge, or they are charging. And I think there is demand there for their vehicles, but it's very hard to say unless they produce them in greater numbers. So my expectation again is just like we have, like I said, 5 times in a row over the last 6 months, we're going to come back down. And probably test this level, 675, probably in about a week's time, unless there's some good news. Nio's going to have their earnings out for Q1, and that is going to be bad. Just didn't make a lot of cars, probably going to make a bigger loss than people expect, and that could be a bloodbath there. So I expect, unless Nio actually is able to fulfill some of those production promises they're talking about, by the end of the third quarter, I expect the stock could go down to around $5. Now, I don't want that to happen. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen because I think Nio can drop very exciting news, and I think there's a ton of merit to the company. I think it, honestly should be worth quite a bit more than that, but this chart is just telling me that this line is, it is what it is, and stock's trying to break through the moving average, the 50-day, but it's just failing. And, hopefully this support line at least holds up. It has for quite a long time. Um, but it is what it is, guys. So looking at the launch of the ES6, we'll head on over to CNEV Post, where I lift all of my content on Chinese EVs. This is a great resource. I hope Fate Zhang knows that we appreciate him. I'm actually going to subscribe to some of his premium data content. Haven't had a chance to do that yet, but plan to. This is the Nio ES6 launch live update, May 24th, 2023. This is the new sort of smaller premium SUV by Nio. The car is really, really good looking from the front. I think this style will sell anywhere, not just China, Europe, but could also sell in the US. I mean, when you look at this vehicle versus like the Tesla design, I know Tesla's, function over form, and I'm not saying it's a bad looking vehicle, but I think this will appeal to a much wider range of buyers. Just, aesthetically, obviously that's subjective. Maybe you love the look of the Teslas, and, God bless, good for you. So anyway, including the battery, the starting price of the new ES6 with 75 kilowatt pack will be 52,000. I'm just going to say this in dollars because I can't translate the RMB, convert it in my head, and most of my viewers obviously are English speakers, and we do not, you know, really understand the Chinese market to the level that we should. So just keep it in dollars, and you can obviously see on your screen the other values for euros and RMB. But if consumers choose to purchase the ES6 using the battery as a service, the car will start at RMB 298. So you can see that takes off 70,000, or a fair percentage, like 20% of the cost if you do the battery as a service. But then of course you have to pay the monthly fee, and then it's a higher fee if you get the larger 100 kilowatt battery pack. And the 150 kilowatt semi-solid state battery pack will be available in July, and this is very exciting. And then that will give 930 kilometers of range, which is nearly 600 miles. Now, I don't know what standard they're using or if that's real world, but that's incredible mileage. I think that's even more than the top of the line Lucid gets, or at least very close. And I obviously that'll add to the cost probably considerably, but still you're probably talking under 70,000 US dollars for a vehicle with all these features. Comes standard with 23 safety drivers features. And so yeah, the 150 kilowatt solid state from July develops parts in-house, leading to quicker feedback and changes. The new ES6 is equipped with Nio's intelligent chassis controller, third generation continuous damping control system. So this is like the suspension and probably how they adjust the modes from sport to comfort and all that. And Nio's on the cutting edge of all this stuff. the European reviews that I've seen driving their cars, it's a unique feel, but the performance is very solid and reassuring and fun to drive, and it's just a really, really good car. All of Nio's cars are built to the highest safety standards, sadly, and that is reflected in the testing. And the ES6 can accelerate from 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers. So that is very, very quick. The new ES6, equipped with their in-house developed four-piston high-performance brakes, will be known as the EL6 in Europe because, of course, of the lawsuit by Audi, and the new ES6 will be available in 10 exterior colors. Um, so William Lee is there. They're launching the ES6. This is very exciting. As many of you know, they just started delivering the new ET7 the other day. So this is another really big thing for Nio. Obviously, the ET7 had a lot of problems. This is one of the biggest black eyes on the company. This was their flagship sedan. The government was supposed to be buying them. They're going to be, dignitaries and executives and big important folks were going to be buying this vehicle, but they had a lot of problems with their production. And it just didn't work out. So they did sort of a redesign, a facelift. It was officially launched at the Shanghai Auto Show last month, and the 2023 ET7 began deliveries in May 19th in several cities: Shanghai, Beijing, Hefei, Nanjing, Hangzhou, Ningbo, Wenzhou, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Changsha, and I know my Chinese pronunciations are horrible, so if you want to make fun of me down in the comments, fat white guy trying to pronounce some Chinese words, feel free. Hope it makes you feel better. It certainly won't hurt my feelings. In fact, I'll get a good laugh out of it. So, if you want to make fun of me down in the comments, I would encourage you to do so. Nio launched the 2023 ET7 first day of Shanghai Auto Show, bringing more than 15 upgrades, including improved seats, 40-watt wireless charging panel for cell phones, and the prices remain unchanged. Um, Including the battery, the price of the new ET7 with 75 kilowatt will be 458 RMB or 65,000, or 516 RMB, and I guess that's so about low 70s for the 100 kilowatt. If customers choose to purchase the battery as a service, obviously it'll come way down, but then you have the monthly fees. So that's nice. You have the option. No other companies out there. That comes down to the fact that Nio's the only one doing battery swap, and Nio's the only one that can sell you the vehicle without the battery and just have that as a monthly service. You never have to worry about your battery wearing out, your car losing all its value because you have an old battery that costs, $25,000 to replace, something absurd like that. So anyway, the ET7 being out, it's really good news for Nio. It's on the Nio NT 2.0 platform, which is their latest right now. Obviously, they're working on 3.0. The second half of 2022, the ET7 was repeatedly the top 10 in China passenger cars monthly ranked premium sedan in China. It saw its highest in June 2022 when 4349 units were sold. So, however, heading into 2023, sales had plummeted, less than 800, and Nio announced it was offering an upgrade program for the interior of the 2022 ET7 that would allow owners to basically, Nio allows the owners of the older models before updates to pay, or in some cases, give certain things without paying, but they allow you to update to the newest features and on their interior, their software, their hardware, etc. And they've tried to do that as much as they can. I know that is kind of probably a drag and a cost on the company and may prevent certain owners from updating, but I think because they botched certain things, they feel an obligation to keep these customers happy, which I think is intelligent because you want these customers for a long, long time. Also, just an odd one. Nio is investing in a nuclear fusion company. I don't know exactly what that's about, but I read this the other day. The Nio ES6 car is now available in 300 stores in China, so that's great news. When Nio does a launch, Nio does a launch. So Nio's crashing today again, guys. I don't know where we are right now. Yeah, still down at $7.80. Volume is heavy after 2.5 hours trading 47 million shares, and we're down 11% here. So I view this as a buying opportunity. There's only good news coming out sort of on the model side, revamp side, all the future planning side, but there's not good news coming out in terms of the deliveries, which is how EV companies are priced in terms of their stock prices. So this is why you see the huge hit. XPEV had bad earnings. I think Nio is still on the right track. The battery swap, being able to give consumers that option of how they buy the vehicle, I think is the unique selling point. I think it's extremely important. If you look at the partnerships Nio have, they're building not only battery swaps in Europe and in China with huge oil companies are partnering with Nio. And I think these huge oil companies and gas station companies that make a ton of money, they can see the future and they can see that Nio is going to be an extremely important part of the landscape when EVs sort of dominate both in Europe and in China, and they're already doing that. So these oil companies see the writing on the wall, even if institutional investors don't quite yet. So they're partnered there. There's all kinds of partnerships. You can read all about it. The models, the appeal. Nio has the best product line, most appealing, and ultimately that's going to win the day. The brand loyalty, the customer service. These things don't necessarily pay off in the short run because they are expensive. They're complicated. There's a lot of headaches to get all these models into production, but it certainly will pay off, in my opinion, when Nio is a player on the EV world stage. Will they be able to ramp in H2? They're certainly telling us they can. They're certainly telling us they will. Will they? Are they able to ramp? And will there be demand for those vehicles at the price they determine to charge without getting into these EV price wars, which I think are actually starting to let up a little bit already. Tesla drops the price of their cars a lot, then they raise it a little. So I think there's some games being played there, but we'll just have to see if they can ramp production. They're telling us they can. They're telling us they will, but we want to see it with our own eyes, and we want to see it in the delivery and registration numbers. These growing pains, as I said before, these happen to every great company, whether it's Amazon or Tesla. All these stocks went down near zero multiple times before they went into their, huge, upward trend in their stocks that have lasted years and years now for some of these larger Goliath companies. And, they all had severe problems in the stock where everyone sold off the stock and everyone gave up on the stock. But if you believe in the company, you believe in the management, you believe in their unique selling point, you believe in their ability to do what they say they're going to do, certain delays and setbacks should not dissuade you and make you panic. There's nothing here with Nio that tells me, they're going to go out of business, they're not going to ramp, any of that stuff. I view this as normal growing pains. Perfect execution, and it just doesn't exist in the real world. Like you have to try and fail and learn from your mistakes, and you have to see if your key people are up to the tasks given the that things evolve and change very quickly. You have to think on your feet, and certain key people probably had to be replaced at Nio, and I know that's all underway, and their partnerships in production with the government. I don't think anybody was really experienced outside of Tesla at building and ramping factories for electric vehicles, and everybody sort of had to learn it as they go. And Nio was not immune to those growing pains. So, you know, my new thing is that EV companies have to, at a certain point, stop being priced by just the production number on a monthly basis. And you have to look at the groundwork they're laying, the investments they're making, and the future proofing they're doing for their company. Can you just make one model and make a whole lot of them and lower costs and make some money in the short term? Yes, but without the development, the investment, you're falling behind. And that's where Neo's running ahead. The way these companies are priced right now is not favorable to Neo's long term vision. And William Lee, again, was asked, he's going through the numbers in terms of Neo's, Neo Capital. I was reading this. They host an investor conference and they're talking about, basically, this is a great quote. We need to think strategically with a long term mindset and use that to guide our short term actions. Neo's obviously not trying to pump the stock. if they wanted to do that over the short term, they could have just canceled a lot of their models, made one or two models, just made a lot of them, priced them a lot lower, not made all the cutting edge tech. But where does that put them? 3 years from now when their models are out of date and they're not selling anymore, it's like, okay, yeah, they could have pumped and dumped the stock, but that's obviously not what Nio's about, and that's not what I'm about as an investor. So that's why I plan to stop recording this very, very long video and jump on and purchase a few shares of Nio. I certainly am not giving you financial advice. Nio is a very risky company. They're not making any money, and they're in China. There's all kinds of geopolitical risks. So, if you're looking for something really safe and stable and profitable, Nio is obviously not for you. And I would suggest you do your own research on anything you're going to buy. Do extensive research. Talk to a licensed, qualified investment professional, which I certainly am not. I am not licensed, I am not qualified, and I am not a professional. So I do appreciate you watching this video. On the day, it is now 8:11 a.m. out on the Pacific Coast. Nio has inched up just a little bit, now sitting at $7.82, down 10.6%, again on a pretty heavy volume, and still moving there, almost 49 million shares traded today. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is DannyDealz. The show is Un Poco Mas, produced by Hurricane Lopez and Stock Karen. It's the Nio stock, ticker symbol is NIO. We'll get back to you with another update when we have even less news to report. You have a great day.